Do you know which divine sword is the most powerful in the mythological history of China? Today, I will take you to have a look at the top 10 famous swords in Chinese history. Ranked number 10. The elegant and refined sword. Chengying. The Chenying Sword is one of the 10 legendary swords of ancient China, ranked alongside Han Guang and Zhao Lian, known collectively as the three Imperial swords of Shang. Legend says its blade was completely transparent, nearly invisible, inscribed with the character Ying, shadow. The hilt could split into two, one side drawing out with no visible blade, a sword of shadow and illusion. Sound familiar? Like a lightsaber from Star Wars? Well, this sword existed in ancient China thousands of years ago. Most people couldn't even sense Chengying's presence. Though invisible, it could still strike and kill. Symbolically, it represented using the sword as a metaphor for Tao, the way. Due to its lower fame and less combat dominance, it comes in at number 10 on our list. Ranked number 9. The Peerless Sword. Chun Jun. The Chun Jun Sword was forged by Yezi, the founding master of ancient Chinese swordsmithing. It's said to be a blade so advanced that even modern technology couldn't replicate it. Legend has it, while forging this sword, the heavens responded with signs and omens. Immortal beings descended to assist Yezi. Knowing it was his destiny, he worked tirelessly with them for 10 years, until the sword was finally completed. Once the sword was forged, the immortals returned to the heavens, and Yezi collapsed and died from exhaustion, leaving behind only this mythic blade. According to historical research, if true, this might be the only one of the 10 great swords still existing today. It's preserved in the Hubei Provincial Museum in China. If you ever get the chance, go see its majesty in person. Ranked number 8. The Sword of Deadly Courage. Fish Intestine Sword. Yu Chang. The Yu Chang sword was also forged by Yezi. It's the smallest among the top 10 swords, only about 40 centimeters long, weighing around 850 grams. Its blade bears winding patterns and intricate textures. So small, it could be hidden inside a fish's belly. It was known as the Fish Intestine Sword, also called the Assassin's Sword. Though small, its power was not to be underestimated. This sword was one of ultimate courage. If the wielder had the resolve to risk everything, the sword's deadliness would be fully unleashed. According to records of the Grand Historian, the Yu Chang sword once pierced through 3 layers of lion-scaled armor, stabbing directly into the heart of King Liao. That legendary strike made it famous, forever known as the Sword of Assassins. Ranked number 7 and 6. The Sword of Eternal Love. Gan Jiang Mo Ye. If Yezi was the god of sword-making, then his legacy lived on through his daughter Mo Ye and his son-in-law Gan Jiang, proving once again, bloodlines matter in every era. Legend says the king of Siju ordered Gan Jiang and Mo Ye to forge the strongest sword in 3 months, or face death. During the forging process, the molten metal refused to harden. In a final act of love, Mo Ye sacrificed herself into the furnace. Her spirit fused with the steel, and thus, two swords were born, one masculine, one feminine. These swords weren't just weapons, they were the embodiment of undying love. The deep bond between husband and wife was forever sealed in steel, giving the blades sacred meaning. It's heartbreaking to imagine, two lovers torn apart by fate, reunited only through a pair of swords. Ranked number 5. The Sword of Integrity, 7-star Long Yuan. The 7-star Long Yuan is a legendary collaboration between swordsmiths, a limited edition of ancient times. It symbolized supreme status and authority. Tempted yet? Forged by Yezi and his son-in-law Gan Jiang, legend says they opened Mount Ci, releasing mountain streams. The water flowed into 7 pools arranged like the Big Dipper, hence the name 7-star. When the sword was complete, its blade shimmered like looking down from a high peak into a deep abyss, resembling a hidden dragon. Thus, it earned the name Long Yuan, Dragon Abyss. By the Han Dynasty, it was known as the Imperial Sword, a weapon of rank reserved only for emperors and generals. If it still existed today, would you want to wield it? Ranked number 4. The Sword of Power and Justice, Tai. The Tai sword is a blade of justice and noble power. People say it was forged by the joint hands of master swordsmiths Yezi and Gan Jiang. But the two masters disagreed. They believed the sword's spirit had always existed between heaven and earth, invisible, formless, waiting only for the right moment. When the time, place, and people aligned, the sword would manifest. The sword was forged in the state of Siachu. When it was drawn, the blade bore the naturally formed seal script characters, Tai, truly a rare treasure. After years of war, when Qin conquered the other 6 kingdoms, the Tai sword fell into the hands of Emperor Qin Shi Huang and was buried with him in the Lishan Mausoleum, never seen again. This sword being ranked 4th feels fair to me. What do you think? Ranked number 3. The Imperial Sword, Chihao. If Caesar had a sword, then so did China's Emperor Liu Bang, the legendary Chihao. Chihao was the personal sword of Liu Bang, the first emperor of Han, 3 feet long, cold as frost, engraved with Chihao, crimson sky. Legend says a celestial being gifted it to him. With it, he slew a white serpent, beginning his path to the throne. The phrase, slay the white serpent, raise the 3-foot sword, achieve immortal glory, was inspired by this very sword. Later, Chihao was kept alongside the imperial seal, treasured as one of the sacred emblems of the Han Dynasty. And because it was wielded by the founding emperor of Han, it became known as the Sword of Imperial Mandate. Ranked number 2. The Sword of Benevolence, Jianlu Sword. The Jianlu Sword was crafted by the master blacksmith Yezi, accompanied by his wife Zhu Jun, daughter Mo Zi, and son-in-law Gan Jiang, under the commission of the king of Yu, Wen Chao. Many people were involved in this creation, truly fitting to call them the gods of swordsmithing. When Yezi completed the sword, he couldn't help but shed tears while caressing it, for he had finally fulfilled his lifelong dream, to forge a weapon that was invulnerable yet carried no trace of malice. It is said that, After the Jianlu sword was forged, it was acquired by the king of Yu, and later passed to King Gujian of Yu. However, after Gujian's defeat in battle, he, in despair, presented the sword as a tribute to the king of Wu Fuchai. Yet, King Fuchai was an unjust ruler, and the Jianlu sword mysteriously flew away to the side of the virtuous king of Yu. From that moment on, the Jianlu sword became a symbol of justice and benevolence. The saying, "The benevolent are invincible," came to represent the sword. Thus, the Jianlu sword is a sword of benevolence, rightfully ranking second. Ranked number 1. The Sacred Sword, Zhuanyuan Sword. At last, the number 1 sword, the Zhuanyuan Sword. It's considered the Genesis Blade, a mythical artifact, also known as Zhuanyuan Yu Sword, a sacred sword of the Tao. In ancient times, the gods mined copper from Shou Mountain to forge this sword for the Yellow Emperor. One side of the blade bore a map of the cosmos. The other, secrets of life's evolution. On the hilt, one side recorded ways to develop agricultural science. The other, strategies for uniting the earth. The sword held the power of the Big Bang itself. The Yellow Emperor used it to defeat Yu. It was later passed to Yu the Great, who wielded it to tame floods and exorcise demons. Eventually, it came into the hands of King Tang of Shang, who used it to destroy 3 evil armies and found the Shang dynasty. With such incredible power, it absolutely deserves its place at the top. The top 10 legendary swords of ancient China have been introduced, and behind each sword lies a story, some thrilling, some tragically resolute. Which one of these swords is your favorite?